Hi, in this video, we are going to see what is a servlet. So, this session is about introduction to servlet. So, we will see the topics such as websites and its types, web server responsibilities, servlet and its role, servlet container, and servlet API. Okay. So, before we go to servlet, what is a servlet? We need to understand websites. So we use websites in our day-to-day life. Okay. So consider a person browse on a website and clicks a link on the page. So in this case, what happen is the website which generates the response at runtime. There are websites which only returns the same file or data always. So there are two types of websites. One is the websites which generate response at runtime dynamically. They are called dynamic websites. Websites which always give the same data or file, irrespective of who sends the request, at what time they send the request. They are called static websites. Okay. But most of the websites we use in our day to day life are dynamic websites. Okay. Next thing is web server. The web server actually plays an important role in website because the websites are hosted in web server, and the web server is responsible for receiving the request from browser, process the request and generate the response and send the response back to the browser. Okay. So next is, so what is the role of servlet in this domain? So web server, if you see, web server has two modules. One module is responsible for receiving the request. This module is implemented using low-level socket programming. There is another module which is responsible for processing the request and generate the response dynamically. So this module is implemented using servlets. So servlet is a server-side entity and servlet is written in Java. Servlet runs on web server. Okay. Now we understand where the servlet come into picture in this website development or web application development. Next is web server uses a separate module to load and run the servlets. So this module is called servlet container, and this servlet container actually it manages the life cycle of servlet. So we as a programmer write a servlet and we deploy the servlet in this web server inside the servlet container, and servlet container manages the life cycle of the servlet which we write. Okay. Next is we have a servlet API. It is a platform independent framework for communication between servlets and servlet container. This API is made up of Java interfaces and classes. So, if you want to understand or learn servlet programming, we need to understand this servlet API and how to use them. This is all about servlet programming is.